up. Okay, good afternoon, and first of all, Happy New Year, Happy 2021. So if you're here this afternoon, first of all, thank you so much for taking some time on the first day of the new year to spend a little bit of time with me. What I want to do in this session is really help you make 2021 your best year yet. So we're live on a few different platforms right now on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and also on Clubhouse. Let me know if you're on Clubhouse. So we're going live for the first time on Clubhouse on one of the rooms. If you are on Clubhouse, just make sure you keep yourself muted, and also invite some other people in as well that you think might benefit from this. So this is a session that I normally would do sort of this time of the year, towards the end of December, and it's really thinking about the year ahead and also the year that's just passed. So it's not just about thinking about what's happening, it's about what's happened as well, and really putting the two together and making sure that we're in the best place to really benefit from what's going to happen next year. And hey, look, if 2020 has taught us anything, that is the year can be really unpredictable and you can't necessarily plan for everything. However, why is it this time of the year people decide to make all this planning and kind of put together goals for the year, new you? You know, if this sort of stuff worked and this was so successful, and then you find that the gyms are absolutely packed with people wanting to get fit for the new year and lose weight, but then at the same time, when it comes to February, the gyms are completely empty. There's hardly anybody there. Why? Has everybody got fit and gone home? No, people give up too quickly. People give up very easily, or they are unrealistic about their goals, or more importantly, or more often is the case, they tend not to stick to them. They tend not to be committed enough to be able to achieve the goals that they've set for themselves. Now, this isn't really a goal setting session that I want to run here. This is really about planning the year ahead. And so this is something that I learned from one of my mentors probably about 8-9 years ago, and I'll be using it for about 8 years, for around 2012 onwards, once a year. And I'll also share where this content's from towards the end of the year session as well. And it's really based on having 10 questions for you to think about. So what I'd encourage you to do is find a nice quiet place, have a notepad and pen, make sure you're not getting distracted, no notifications or anything else going off, phone on silent, just so you can focus on this, because this is really about you and how you can make the best of the year ahead and make it really a fantastic year for you. So what we want to do is, first of all, think about when we're setting our goals for the year and when we're setting these things, why is it we do these? Well, we do these because we want to change our life, we want to improve our life, we want to have a better life than the one that we already have right now. But often it's really comes from a place of how important is that for you? How important is it for you that you make the change? Now, sometimes it's really important and those people are more driven and more committed. And other times it's really, well, it's nice to have a little bit of a change, but it may not make a massive difference to your life. But at the end of the day, we are where we are because the choices and the decisions that we make every single day in our life. So when we are complaining about things, when we're looking at why things are going so well for us, often it's lots and lots of little decisions. Now, I'm a big believer that God has a big impact in our lives and in what happens and fate being written and destiny for us. But I'm also a big believer that you have to get off your backside and do some of the work as well. It's not just going to fall in your lap. So we can't binge and complain and moan about things when we're actually not doing anything about it. Because really every single day, the decisions that we're making makes a difference. So for example, you know, if I decide to have a burger and chips today, am I going to be fat tomorrow? No. But if I decide to do that twice a day, every day for the next 6 months, you bet it's going to make a difference to your weight, because it's the compounded effect of things. But all these little decisions add up and take you in the right direction. Excuse me, or even in the direction that you want to go. So it's remembering that the decisions that we are making every single day will move us and steer us to where it is ultimately we want to get to. So if you're ready, if you've got a pen at hand, your notepad, or whether you can use a laptop, notes, or whatever you're going to do, we've got 10 questions that we're going to go through in this session. We'll run for, maybe about half an hour. But the other thing I want you to do is, as we're going through these questions, I want you to share your thoughts. But because we've got 10 questions, the way I'd like you to do that is when you respond in the comment section, just put a number at the beginning, whatever question we're on. So we're kind of quite clear in terms of when I'm sharing some of those answers on the screen, because what will happen otherwise, I might be on question 3, you're giving me some information on question 1, and it's going to get a little bit messy. So hopefully this will work, because I haven't done this before in this way on this live stream, and hopefully it will work well. So if you're ready to go, in fact, can you just give me something in the comment section that you can see and hear me okay, because I haven't asked. I'm assuming you can. This is quite a lonely way to do this because I'm just looking at a camera and I've got a couple of screens around me, but I don't really know what it is that you can see and hear. As long as you can see and hear me, okay, we'd be good to go and good to get started. Fantastic. Okay, excellent. Edwin, Happy New Year to you. Fantastic. Thank you so much. So let's get started with question number 1. So the first thing you want to think about is what's the biggest achievements that you've had in 2020? So think about the year that's gone. What's been the biggest achievements for you? So for example, for me, some of the biggest achievements have been we've had the first new build house we've sold and somebody move into it. So that's a massive achievement. I'm really pleased about that. We launched the Big Property Group, which will be our development arm of the business, where pretty much all our developments will be doing through that going forward. Our team has grown and expanded, although we've lost a couple of people along the way as well. We've also taken new people on in the team and the business as well. And, the way we work has restructured and changed a little bit. But all in all, there's a number of achievements, and I'm talking specifically about property. In fact, you could do the same exercise in various aspects of your business. It could be health, career, money, whatever else. And this recording hopefully will be available. As long as the tech works okay, you can go back to my YouTube channel and watch it again afterwards and maybe run through different aspects of your life with it. But here we're talking about specifically about property. Now, if you want to share, just pop in the comment section, just write number 1 and then put your answer in there, and we can share some of those on the screen. What your biggest achievements have been in 2020, what specifically? Now, as I said earlier, let's face it, nobody expected this year was going to pan out this way. So it's very unlikely that people who set goals at the beginning of the year have now kind of hit those the way they were expecting. They might have still hit some goals, but it'll probably in a very different journey than the one they were expecting. So then the second thing that we need to think about is what's been our magic moments. The magic moments of 2020. Often we don't take the time to really think about and reflect what's actually really been amazing and what's been wonderful, the experiences. Now, sometimes this can be materialistic things. Other times it can just be experiences that you've had. Now, I'm much more bigger on experiences than I'm on materialistic things. But what were those magic moments for you? What was it that made the kind of real lasting impact for you? And for me, as I said earlier, one of the biggest achievements was selling one of the new build properties we've started on. And we've, we had the first person move into it, went to see him with some flowers and chocolates. It was just amazing to see. This started off as a field. Now it's a beautiful detached 5-bedroom house that somebody's moving into with their family, just settling in just before Christmas. And, that for me was an absolute magical time, just being able to see that and experience that as well. And of course, another magical moment for me has been, if you've been watching my YouTube channel, I've been sort of working very hard, creating all this content for you and sharing with you online. And there's a lot of effort that goes into making that and creating that happen. And we've just hit 5,000 subscribers, which I'm so grateful for. And I've just seeing that on the screen that actually there's about 5,000 people that regularly follow the videos and watch what I'm doing. And it's just amazing. And it's just comprehending that sometimes can be crazy. So let's see what sort of shares that we've got. If we've got some, we can get those on the screen. So Vohan on LinkedIn saying, for him, his biggest achievement was graduating from university at a 2-1 in marketing and achieving my first year placement as a letting assistant. Absolutely. I get people often messaging me, maybe quite young or early in their career, and they're saying, how can I get involved in property? Very little money, very little time as well. I said, well, look, why don't you get involved in the property space, in a career around property? That could be for a sales agent, a letting agent, a surveying firm, a property developer, but at least you're working in that environment rather than trying to get into it from the outside. And then, of course, you can still go off and do your own thing when you're ready, but at least working in an environment certainly happens. So thank you for sharing that. Then the next thing that we need to then think about is what roles did I play in 2020, i.e. what hats were you wearing? So, for example, for me, one hat I wear is the leader of this business. There's lots of sub-businesses underneath that we run. The leader to this team that we have is about 20 staff that we have in these various property businesses that we run, a mentor for the people that I mentor within the property space, a content creator. These are all different hats that I'm wearing. So think about what different hats are you wearing within your property business. So for example, lead sales and marketing, you know, I wear that hat as well. I'm the face of the business when people are interacting, engaging. Investors, when they're investing with us, they're investing with me, so I'm that brand. So, you know, the investor relations hat. So think about all these various things. Now, if you're very early in your journey, in your property investing journey, then it may be you're wearing lots and lots of hats, and that's completely okay. But it's just recognizing that these are different roles and that you are doing all these different things. And it may be that going forward, you want to do some of these things, and maybe some of you won't, and we'll talk more about those in a very short while. So remember, if you want to share some of your thoughts, just put the question number that we're on, and then just put your comments up, and we'll share it on the screen. So let's get actually a share on the screen. So Vohan again on LinkedIn, which is for magic moments. Was meeting and networking with people in the letting marketing and gaining new experience. Of course, it's just sometimes, you know, when we get involved in a new environment, I remember when I first got involved in property and I started going along to property networking events. And then, you know, at that time, this is going back nearly 15 years, there were very, very few events that were actually run and networking events, and just going into a room full of people that have some very, very experienced people, some that are brand new, and the openness and how easy it was to try and talk to people and share ideas and learn from much more experienced people. That was just phenomenal. That blew me away. And that was really a complete shift from the environment or the mindset that I personally had from the business I was involved in before, which is IT, because I ran an IT business for 15 years. And my mindset at that time was, I don't want to share stuff with anybody else because that's what I get paid for. I get paid for my knowledge, experience, all these crazy exams that I've sat in IT, all these letters after my name. That's what I'm getting paid for. I'm not sharing that with anybody unless they pay me for it, right? But when I came into property, it was completely different. People are much, much more open, and that did blow me away when I experienced that. So thank you for that share. The next question is we need to think about is, what were the biggest disappointments in 2020? And I said earlier, you know, 2020 probably hasn't panned out the way most people expected. So for me, one of the disappointments was that everything took much, much longer to do. And I'm so grateful that, you know, we're still here. We're stronger than we were a year ago in this business. But, you know, during the year, we were really struggling to get projects finished. We were falling behind on projects. We couldn't get hold of materials, which meant costs were slightly increasing as well. And it means properties were going for sale onto the market later. Refinances were happening later. In fact, during lockdown, we're really struggling to get some of the refinancing done. You know, so these are probably, I would say, a lot more challenges than disappointments. But overall, when I look at the year, and I think, you know, I probably haven't done as much as I really wanted to in 2020 because there's certain limitations. And remember, you know, some of this is about a mindset. There are things that will happen, and it's ultimately about how do we react and respond to those. There are certain things that are going to happen in the world that we have no control over. Coronavirus being one. You know, there's nothing we can do to control that other than keep ourselves safe and try and keep other people safe and be mindful of, you know, how we are and how we behave. But the reality is the things that we can do are the ones that we can react to and the actions that we actually take ourselves. So there's external factors and internal factors. Internal are the ones that you can actually control. Decisions you make, as we were talking about earlier on, what impact they're going to have on something. And then you have no control over other things that are going on in the world. And rather than my grandfather who used to live with me, who passed away a few years ago in his 90s, may God bless his soul, you know, he used to spend in his latter years, spend a huge amount of time watching the news, and he talked about all this suffering that's happening around the world, and he'd get so upset about all the things that he'd see. And I would say to him, look, Grandad, you know, you can't control any of these things. These things are happening. Yes, the news are there to sensationalize to some extent these things. They're selling news, they're selling media, but you can't impact those things. What you can do is impact how you feel and how you react. They're the only things that you can control. And so it's thinking about how we react to these things. So yes, there may have been disappointments in the year. What do we do about them? How do we respond to them, and how do we react to those? So the next question that we need to then think about is, what lessons did we learn from 2020? So what lessons did I learn from 2020? One of the biggest learnings was you might make all the plans in the world you like, and you know the powers above are probably making plans even bigger than that you're going to completely be unaware of. So yes, you know, we can make certain plans. It doesn't mean we can control everything either. So think about, what lessons have you learned? And, you know, one of the other things that I've learned this year is, look, I really need to take care of my health more often, more so than I have been doing previously, because I've neglected it a lot more. Yes, I'm kind of very focused in my business, very driven, a workaholic, working very hard, you know, building these businesses. But at the end of the day, who's looking after me? the only person that can do that is myself. I've got to look after myself. I've got to look after my health. So I've been working hard, trying to drop some weight and keep it off as well, rather than it being yo-yoing. And what is it that you've learned? What lessons have you learned in 2020 that particularly with regards to your business? Because although we're talking specifically around property here, the reality is if I've got really poor health and I'm not looking after myself, that's going to have an impact on my business. So it's thinking about the chain of things that happen as well. So remember, if you want to share some of your thoughts, just pop it in the comment section on whichever platform you're watching on, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and just put the question number on, and then your comments. If we've got one, we can put it on the put it up on the screen now. This is from Luke on YouTube. I've just had my first property offer accepted. I'm keen to start looking for my next already, even though this one isn't signed and sealed. How long to wait before proceeding? My biggest achievement. So hey, look, it's a great achievement when you get that first offer agreed and accepted. And yes, in property, it's a long drawn out process. It doesn't happen overnight like that. It can take weeks and weeks and months sometimes, from the point you've agreed to buy a property to the point you actually get the keys, because there's many different things that that need to be done. Now, once you've got that agreed, you've got things lined up, your ducks in a row, as it were. For example, how it's going to get funded, what works need to be done on that property. All those things are ready and done and lined up. Then I'd be straight off looking at the next deal. I'll be looking for more, and I'll be looking at how are you going to progress on the goals that you set yourself. So yes, by having that one agreed, I would start looking at others as well, rather than just waiting around till that completes. Because, also we have to remember that, 1 in 3 deals will fall out of bed and never reach completion. And if that's the case, if we're relying on that one deal, we're spending months and months trying to get to completion. And just before completion, that deal falls out of bed. What have we got to show for it? Nothing. We've just lost a huge amount of time and possibly some money as well when we're back to square one and we've got to start again. So remember, if you've got various things moving along, that means that actually, even if something falls out of bed, it doesn't feel so painful then. You're not so emotionally attached to it. You just move on. It's just a numbers game. So thank you for that share. So the next thing then to think about is, what's the most significant role that I want to play in 2021? So this is now thinking about, okay, going forward, what is it that I want to be doing more of? Specifically in property, what specific type of role? So for example, for myself, in terms of content creation, I'll be spending a lot of time on content creation. I want to focus more time and effort on doing that and putting together some of the training courses that I'm doing to help some of the people, mentoring a small group of people, about 12 people I can help specifically to develop and grow their property business in 2021. Also, in terms of the leader of our business, I continue to do that. So some of the things I'll continue to do, some I might take more things on, and some might be new roles. And it's thinking about what things specifically are going to be most significant that you want to do, which are going to be the key significant roles for you. So another one, for example, for me is like a sort of key fundraiser in our business. What I mean by that is, we're always doing lots of different projects, and I work with investors. Investors come funding the deals, and it's primarily myself that speaks to those investors, and we talk about how that might work and how the funding work and whether we are or aren't going to work together. So, that's something I'll continue to do because I enjoy doing that. I believe people invest with me because it's me, and rather than me having somebody else that talks to potential investors, I know that's something I enjoy doing. So thinking about things that you enjoy doing and also you're good at as well. So, let me know if you're finding this stuff useful. Is this making sense? As I said, this is something I do usually once a year, either towards the end of the year, or the beginning of January. And I thought this year it'd be great to kind of share this with you. And this is a process that I go through each year. And as I said, there's a series of 10 questions. And towards the end, I'll share with you in terms of where this is from as well. It was one of my mentors introduced me to this about 8 years ago. So number 7, what are my top 3 goals for each role? So when we think about each role, what's the goal for that specific, what 3 goals do you have for that specific role? So for example, one of the ones I just mentioned is content creator. So I want to be creating content. So what goals have I got around that? Well, so most of the content I'm doing right now is going onto YouTube. So I'm thinking, so we hit 5,000 subscribers. My goal is to be able to hit about 30,000 subscribers for the end of 2021. That was really what I'd like to be. But the only way that can happen is when we have lots of great content out there. and also content that people are enjoying and liking and sharing with other people as well. And so then my goals around that specific one, so for example, I might have a number of subscribers rather to the channel. Then I'll be looking at also how many videos I'm producing and what other content I'm putting together for training. All these things are related. So it's thinking about what are going to be the top 3 goals for you in each of the roles that you want to play within 2021. Okay, so for number 8, what are my top 10 goals for 2021? So now this is overall what goals you have. It's a case of just getting a brain dump and listing them all down. What are all the goals that you've got for 2021 that you want to achieve and you want to get done in 2021? What I'd suggest is just kind of get them all out there, write them out on a piece of paper, just do a brain dump, just, find a place where you can just really open your imagination and think about what could be possible, and then think about, what would the ideal outcome for 2021 be for you? What would that look like? And then really get all this down on a piece of paper. I find this, is an amazing way to try and think about what things could be and how they can work out just by getting them out and putting them on a piece of paper first of all. It's just my way my brain works. And by just getting that brain dump, then I separate them out. This is family goals. These are goals around my health. These are goals around money. These are goals around property, whatever that might be. And then what you can do is start prioritizing them. But the next task then is, which we're not doing necessarily here, is to go down to the next level, break that down in terms of how is it that you're going to achieve each of those goals. So once, for example, let's say you had a goal, say, I want to acquire, say, 6 properties next year, 6 buy-to-let properties. You think, okay, how am I going to do that? How's that going to work? Well, that could be maybe 1 every couple of months that you're doing, which will give you 6 in the year. But how are you going to do those 6? How many properties do you need to view? How many offers do you need to put in? How many contractors do you need to be working with? How much money are you going to need to be able to do each of those projects, to be able to continue to roll them and get all that done? So you start breaking it down, and this way it becomes much more applicable rather than just a dream or something that you just think about on the first day of January of the new year, and then by the second it's all forgotten, which is really what happens when people talk about rushing to the gym at the beginning of January trying to get fit. Hey, no one's doing that right now because we're in lockdown tier 4. But by February, everyone's disappeared. They're not in the gym anymore because they've given up. And this is what I want you to avoid doing, because the reality is, you'll be setting goals, you'll be planning, and I'll be speaking to lots of people about helping them trying to achieve their property goals and targets. The reality is most won't achieve those goals because they're not going to be driven enough. It's not going to be important enough for them. That's the key thing. For those, it is important enough. Those that are driven, they find a way to get this done. So number 9, and we've got one more after this one. So number 9 is, how can I absolutely make sure I achieve these goals? So what is it that needs to happen to get these goals done? So you've written these goals down. If they're important for you, you've got to think about how is it that you can actually get them done? How are you going to achieve them? So let me break this down a little bit further so it will help. So first of all, what daily rituals do you need to commit to? So what is it you need to do every day to get that done? So using the example earlier about the 6 properties, you need to get out there first doing some viewing. So you need to shortlist these viewings. So that might be spending a number of hours each day looking for stuff online, speaking to sources, speaking to other contacts that you've got, networking, to be able to get those leads coming in. So what rituals is it that you need to commit to on a daily basis? And then thinking about, what is it you need to become? What does that mean? Well, what you need to become means, how do you need to change the way you are to where you want to be and how you want to think and behave? What changes need to happen for that to occur? So you can start focusing and thinking in that way to ultimately be able to achieve that. And then what is it you need to stop doing? Often we spend a lot of time talking about we need to do this and we need to start this and we need to change that and grow this. But sometimes it's just thinking about all the things we're doing that are really not serving us, not helping us, that we can stop doing. So for example, for me, it was stop eating so much chocolate because it really isn't good for me. And then that will contribute towards my overall health. But, it could be something as simple as that. But otherwise, it could be, you're doing stuff, spending time with people, very negative, for example. There might be really nice people. They might have the best of intentions, but they just pull you down and draw you down. It might be that you're spending, way too much time on Facebook and Netflix and whatever it might be. And these things aren't serving you. So think about, what things can you stop doing? We only have 24 hours in the day. There's only the same 24 hours that every single person has on this earth. Whether you're a property investor, you're a student, you're a husband, you're full-time working somewhere, you're the president of a country, whatever it might be, we only have the same 24 hours. So it's ultimately about how we use those hours that are important. And so thinking about what things can we stop doing. And it's not uncommon for people to say, look, I'd love to do that, I just really don't have the time. We all have the time. It's whether we choose to do it. And remember, where we started from is about making the decisions. Are you making the decisions that are going to help you and serve you achieve your goals? Or are you making the decisions that are moving you further and further away from your goals? And then think about, who can I add to my circle to help me? So who can be around you, supporting you and helping you to achieve those goals? Thinking about the people that are going to be contributing towards that. For example, I'm growing my team, the people that are here, so we can achieve some of the goals that we plan to for 2021 and 2022 and going forward. So that needs to be based on having the right people around me, and also in terms of mentors that I have that help me in my businesses, whether that's in sales, whether that's in property, whatever it might be, that these are people that are helping me and supporting me because they've achieved the things I want to achieve, and I can use their guidance and support. And so think about who can help and support you. And if I can help you in any way, make sure you reach out, and we'll see what we can do to help you. So then our final question is thinking about, why am I absolutely 100% committed to achieving these top 10 goals? So when you've listed these goals, you've listed them and saying, these are my top 10 goals. These are the most important ones for me. These are the ones that I want to achieve. But you think about, why are they so important to you? Because if they really are important to you, you find a way to make them happening. So this is where you really reflect on and think about, how are you going to be so committed to making this happen? I don't mind sharing, when I started in property, I really didn't have very much money at all. I really was not in a good position financially, but I wanted to try and create something that was going to be beyond me. It's going to be generational. Not only help me financially, but it helped many other people, my family, and even people way, way beyond me when I'm no longer here as well, which, let's face it, ultimately, none of us know how long we're on this earth for. And so these are the things that drove me. And for me, it was really an obsession to try and make this work. And this is how I learned so much about so many different strategies. I was trying so many different things and built up the knowledge very quickly, and found a path in terms of what worked really well for me within property. So I hope this is making sense. Let me know your thoughts. And something I want you to just think about for a moment is, tell me what you can see on the screen. Just think about, from what is it that you see there? How do you read that? And how is it that you read it now? Opportunity is nowhere. Is that what you see? Or is what you're reading on the screen, opportunity is now here? So the reality is, the opportunities are always around us. They're always there. But can we see them? Can we spot them? And when we do spot them, do we grab them with both hands to actually make best use of those? So this is something I love sharing, because it just helps us understand that there are opportunities everywhere. We don't always see them. And when we see them, we just need to grab them with both hands. So how is it that I can help you? If you're looking for some help and support from me, the way I can help you is really 3 ways. It's very simple. One is, I can show you what I do so you can do it for yourself. And what I mean by that is, I'm putting together some more training programs this year in 2021, which I'll be sharing around specific property investing strategies in depth, so you can learn and go out and implement those. And if you're interested in those, just reach out, send us a message on the various social media platforms, and we'll keep you notified as and when they are available. The second thing is, I can support you by mentoring. And what that means is, you may already have some knowledge in terms of what you want to do. By having the support around you in terms of a mentor, someone's already achieved what you want to achieve, it just means that you can get further faster with your property goals. And if you're looking for somebody to support you through that process, and this is where the biggest shift happened for me in property investing, where I was trying all these different things and I wasn't really getting a result. And what really changed, when someone took me by the hand and say, hey, look, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to move forward, and just stop getting distracted by all these other things. That's what made the biggest difference for me. So supporting you is really in the shape of mentoring, by guiding you and making sure, as much as you avoid making mistakes, as also find the right deals that are going to help you move you forward and help you achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And then finally, the third way is do it for you. Now, there's no magic pill here. Do it for you essentially means, if you don't necessarily want to learn all this stuff yourself to be able to go out there and invest in property and build a property business, but you have funds to invest and you're interested in benefiting from me doing the work by investing with me, and you have at least £50,000, then reach out again. And if any of these things are of interest, just reach out to me on whichever social media platform you're watching on, and I'm happy to have a chat and see if there's something we can help you. And now, look, I can't help everybody, and if it's something I feel I can add value to and benefit for you, then certainly we can explore how that will work. And so before we wrap up, I just want to share where this concept has come from, these 10 questions. It's essentially from this book, which is the one my mentor introduced to me probably about 8 years ago. So if you want to explore this a little bit further, then make sure you get that book. I think it's available on Amazon as well. This recording we will put up on YouTube, so you can go back and go over it again, not only just for your property investing business, but also for other areas of your life. And remember, this is ultimately about reminding yourself is why is it you're trying to fit in, but ultimately you were born to stand out. So look, if I can help in any way, make sure you reach out on the various different social media platforms. Wherever you're watching, just send us a comment and we can arrange to have a chat. And look, if there's something I can do to help add value to you and help you move forward to your goals, I'll do my very best to do that. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. And remember, every Monday evening at 8:30, I run the live stream, probably on the platform that you're watching right now, where I answer your questions around property investing. And there's 2 other videos that we have on YouTube as well. And if you want some more hand-holding and guidance and support, again, reach out. And if you're looking to really invest funds without necessarily doing the work yourself, let's have a chat and see if there's something I can help you with. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you an amazing and a blessed 2021. I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Thank you.